So like I was saying, Letecia Stauch was taking care of Gannon, and Gannon's real father was actually away for a couple of days. He was only away for like 2 to 3 days. It's not like he was away for like months on end or anything like that, but he had to go for National Guard duty. He was away for 2 to 3 days. And Letecia was in charge of 17-year-old Harley, which is her biological daughter, and 11-year-old Gannon, Stauch's stepson. And there is another stepchild that she has as well. And I believe I think she's like roughly like maybe like 7 or 9 around that time. So Letecia has 3 kids to take care of, even though one is 17 years old. And Gannon goes missing. Letecia calls 911 and she's like, oh, I don't know what happened to Gannon. He was out playing. He was supposed to be back by 6 o'clock. But she had called 911, I think a couple hours after 6. And they were like, well, Letecia, like, did you check with the neighbors? Did you check with other people? Like, whose neighbors? Whose door did you knock on? Who do you think Gannon's playing with? And she couldn't give them any information. Because honestly, you know, when your kid goes missing, you don't really call 911 right away. You kind of like, okay, well, let me see if my kid is with like this neighbor, maybe with this friend. You like go knocking on doors, checking with other people. Like, hey, have you seen my kid? She couldn't provide any of that information to the police. And it's because she knew what happened to Gannon. So she didn't even go through the process of even faking it by knocking the neighbor's door and saying like, hey, you know, have you guys seen Gannon or anything like that? So the police arrive. They arrive at like nighttime. And Letecia's, you know, giving the story like, oh, I don't know where Gannon is. I don't know where Gannon is. And I think like roughly maybe even like 24 or 48 hours later, she changes her story to the detectives and said, they're like, oh, yeah, you know what actually happened was there was a home invasion. And she said that she was essayed, and she said that Gannon was there. Gannon tried to fight off one of there was like, I think there was one attacker. Gannon tried to fight off the attacker. And then Letecia blacked out a couple of times. And then I think she said that like the attacker, after essaying her, kidnapped Gannon and took him away in a suitcase, which, you know, doesn't really make sense. It's like, okay, like that's 2 different crimes that like, you know, you don't really see happening. And what would be the point of taking the boy away? And so she was like, well, I cleaned up the crime scene and everything. And then I decided to call the cops and say that he went missing. It's like, why would you that doesn't even make sense. You would call the cops ASAP and then you report what happened to you. But anyways, that's one of Letecia's elaborate lies. I want to watch some of the trial footage. But let's listen to this. So I think the person that's testifying right now, I don't know if it's a detective or if it's just someone that works for the fake polygraph website. Let's find out.
How can I help?
Yes, I didn't get any confirmation about my test I paid for.
And so just for reference sake, before we get too deep into the phone call, sounds like there's 2 voices.
Yep.
That's correct.
Do you recognize one of the voices?
I do.
Is it the female voice?
Yes.
And whose voice is that?
That's the defendant's voice.
Okay.
That's Letecia's voice. Oh, this is so embarrassing. Ricta, Joe, hello. Yes, you're from Japan. I've always wanted to go. I've never streamed on YouTube before. I've streamed on Twitch before. I haven't done it on YouTube before. Maybe it should be easy. Hi, Sue Magic. How are you doing today? Oh, cute little doggo. I love the profile picture. Maybe do a stream every now and then where you're summing up your experience in Japan. Yeah, maybe I could do that. Yeah, we'll see. I hope the internet in Japan should be pretty decent because I have friends that stream in Japan.
Go ahead. Thank you, Angela.
Okay, can I have your name, please? I can check if we've got the order here.
Yes. Keisha, last name is Stauch, Stagch.
Okay, give me one moment, please. Let me have a little look.
Sherry, what I want to know, because it seems like there wasn't any signs or anything. I want to know if there was any signs that she may have been abusive prior to this, or did she just snap? Because this other case that I talked about, there were definitely signs that the child that I was, the child in the case, there was definitely signs that the family was doing some pretty horrible things to him. But this one, I wonder if there was any signs. Like, did the teachers notice anything? Did friends notice anything? Did family members notice anything? Or is it just like something that just freaking happened, like a one-time thing, you know? Hi, Joe. How are you doing today?
Okay, yeah, perfect. I can see that we've received that, and we have actually sent the test. Have you not received that yet?
Have what now?
We have already sent the results to your email account.
I don't have them. Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah, so a little bit background story. Letecia went on this website literally called fakepolygraph.com, and she was trying to get some fake polygraph results. So she can take it to the police, be like, hey guys, I took the polygraph thing. See, look, I'm not lying. Not whatever. I mean, she thought it was going to work. Okay. I wonder how much. I think she paid like $79 for it too, something like that. But she did that and she hasn't gotten the results yet. So she's probably getting a little antsy, you know? And then so she decides to call the website. It's like, hey, yo, what's up with like my results? Like, did I get my results yet? Can I get it? And so this is the customer service person. They're helping her right now.
Okay, let me try resending that. And if you don't receive it, give us a call back.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, now. Bye-bye.
All right.
So Special Agent Cohen, the phone number that at the very beginning, let me back up. There you can hear ringing. Does that indicate that this is a phone call that was initiated by the defendant to a particular place?
That's correct.
Were you able to investigate and determine who it was that she was calling?
I was.
What was the phone number that she was calling?
Objection, foundation fee.
Objection what?
Sterling.
I can lay some foundation, Judge.
Oh, foundation. Okay.
When a wiretap is obtained, does it record both the outgoing and receiving phone numbers?
Oh, and by the way, the reason why we have these recordings is because Letecia, she was acting strange. The police, they thought she was up to something. So they had a wiretap on her phone. They actually also had like a tracking device on her cars as well. So they were able to get some information out of her to see what's up with Gannon. Because at this point, they don't know where Gannon is. Gannon's body hasn't been found. I think they didn't find Gannon's body until like 3 months later. And his body was found in a suitcase thousands of miles away from where he lived in Colorado. It was found in Florida. So they wiretap, they hit the wiretap, they put a tracker in her car. And so that's why we have this recording right here. Hi, Cecilia. How are you doing today? Okay, so Taxi says, my guess would be there were signs, but she was surrounded by very naive adults who wouldn't pick up on it. So I went a little bit harsh on the dad, I would say, but I guess I shouldn't have because I don't have enough information. Because to me, I was just like, how did the dad not pick up that this woman did not want to take care of her son, or this woman didn't love her kids or something like his kids and stuff like that? You know, maybe she was really good at hiding it. I don't know. Because, you know, honestly, initially when I first heard about this, I blamed the dad also. I was just like, how did he not pick up on any of this stuff? Like, but, you know, some people are just really good at lying. But I also, as well, I'm also very naturally like suspicious of people. So, you know. In those calls, note how entitled she feels to get her money back immediately, even though she clearly violated the terms of service. She lives in a country where everything revolves around her. Oh, I haven't heard of the recording yet. I just read the police, the arrest affidavit thing.
Part of the overall wiretap in this investigation, we also installed something called a pen register trap and trace device. That particular device will record both the outgoing or incoming phone number from the subject telephone.
Oh, okay.
And so does that mean that the receiving phone, the person that is being dialed, or the place that the originator is dialing, would be caught in this trap and trace?
That's correct. It's identified as either an outgoing or incoming phone call, and we have the telephone numbers on both ends of that conversation.
And then were you able to look up that particular phone number that was dialed for this call and see it being associated with a particular webpage?
Yes, I was.
What webpage was that?
Fakepolygraph.com.
Fakepolygraph.com.
And is that what all of these phone calls are in relation to, is calls originated by the defendant to a purportedly fakepolygraph.com webpage?
That's correct.
Okay, let's jump into 689.
All right, so fakepolygraph.com. Okay, let's go visit this website really quick. Get a real and fully verifiable fake polygraph test certificate proving you have taken a polygraph test. You choose the questions, the location, and results. We send you a fully verified report within 1 business hour. The fake polygraph report is emailed from a local and real polygraph company. If your partner calls a real company, the polygraph's company customer service team will confirm your test results. We have partnered with real polygraph companies in the following countries: UK, Ireland, USA, Australia, Canada, and New Zealand. What do people take this for? Do they like cheat on their partners? And then when they get caught, they're like, whoa, honey, I got the polygraph results. See, I didn't cheat on you. What do you mean? What do people get this for? Oh my gosh. When you have a chance, listen to her calls with her ex-husbands. They are very telling. I listened to parts of it where at this point he was working with the police, and dude, I had a clip of where she was saying that she demanded for immunity. She's so fucking disgusting. She was like, I want immunity. I'm just like, girl, oh my God. I've got to go get my eyelashes and my eyebrows done. Okay. I hope they look good. Okay. How does it work? You provide a list of questions, results, the location, and date of when the polygraph test supposedly took place. A local polygraph company will email your polygraph examination results, a 3 to 4 page document which details your test results. Jesus. Oh, here it is. Prove the truth for husband, wife problems, boyfriend, girlfriend problems, family and friends problems, issues on date nights, disagreements, novelty situations, infidelity issues. Yeah, not for murder stuff. Okay, Letecia? Oh, here's a testimonial. I just want to read this real quick. My employer accused me of breaking something in the store, even though I was telling the truth and it wasn't me. They would not believe me. I couldn't afford the $500 fee for an actual polygraph test, so I used this service. My boss called the authentic company who confirmed that I was telling the truth. My boss didn't reimburse me, but I got an extra week's holiday. No way. I don't believe that. I told my partner that I was taking a day off work to attend a polygraph test. She asked for the results to be emailed directly to her. The authentic polygraph company followed my instructions and sent the report directly to her. She instantly believed me and it saved our 8 years marriage. Oh my goodness. My husband accused me of sleeping with another man. We agreed I would take a polygraph test, but I was worried that I would not pass. So this did the trick. Oh my gosh. So for a standard one, it's $60. Bespoke, I don't know what that means, but $300 for that one. Okay. If any of you guys end up doing a fake polygraph test, let me know how that goes. Okay.
And permission to publish 689, Judge.
You may go ahead.
All right. I want to listen to the rest of the recording, but I think we'll get there soon.
May I help?
Hi, yes, I was just talking to you. Is there a way to confirm where you sent those? Because I still didn't get them.
Yeah, so I'm just going to get that resent for you. So if you wait for the next 10, 15 minutes and let me know if you haven't received it by then.
Dude, at this point, they probably looked at it and they're like, dude, the questions that she's asking, they are sus. I don't know if we should get involved with this. Because she was asking questions like, did I hurt or harm my stepson in any way? Am I involved in the disappearance of my stepson? Something like that. So that must have been a red flag for their system.
I was saying, can you check the email? Because I just want to make sure.
Okay, yeah, give me a moment. TECIALYNN2006
Okay, cool. So you said that 10.
Oh, I was just going to say, do you think Letecia's a yahoo.com person? She is. She got yahoo.com. Guys, you guys have a yahoo.com account, please switch over to like something better, more secure, okay? Yahoo gets hacked so easily. Do not Yahoo, okay?
15 minutes. Correct. Okay, thank you. Have a good day.
In that particular phone call, did it sound like there was an email address that was confirmed to the defendant?
Yes.
What was that email address?
It was Tisha Lynn at 2000. I can't remember the exact address, but it was an address that we knew to be associated to the defendant.
Okay. And that's what sounds like an English speaking person relayed, and then the defendant acknowledged that as being the correct email address.
That's correct.
Okay. And then 690, permission to publish, Aaron.
You may go ahead.
Hi, yes, I'm calling again. I still didn't get that email.
Okay, can I ask your name, please?
Dude, she called like 3 times already. Did she really think this was going to clear her? Come on.
It's last name Stauch.
Maybe she was going to give it to her husband and she thought the husband was being gullible enough. Like, I was wondering, was she trying to give this to the police or she was trying to give this to her husband?
Oh, right, yes, perfect. I can see here.
It's like 10, 15 minutes and you said it again. I still don't have it.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, it's actually been blocked by management, this order, due to the content of the questions. So we're
Blocked by management due to the content of the question.
not going to be able to send this report.
Okay, so do I get my money back?
Unfortunately, not on this case, no. Obviously, due to our terms and conditions, it does clearly state that any sort of illegal activities or anything like that, obviously, the management do reserve the right not to send the report. Obviously, we do incur processing fees, so that's why a refund wouldn't be due.
So what do you do now? Just delete it and go on about license and money?
Yes, we would do indeed.
We would delete it. Yeah, she's hoping they delete it, but did they delete it? Nope.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, and it's funny how she didn't even try to argue to get her fees back because she was like, damn, if I try to argue, they might report me to the police. Fuck. Let me just shut up.
In that particular call, is it essentially being communicated that a polygraph result is not going to be provided because it's associated with illegal activity?
Mm-hmm.
Sustained on second grounds, jury can make their own determination.
Okay. And then permission to publish 691.
You may go.
Hi, how can I help?
I didn't hang up.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I can hear you now. How can I help you?
Okay. I talked to you earlier and you said that the request I did was blocked or something bad.
Oh, I didn't hear about this one. I didn't know she called back.
I looked at the terms and conditions and it says you can't say things about like infidelity and stuff like that. So I'm not sure how that was blocked.
Say that again, sorry.
It's not about infidelity, you dumb. She was talking about hurting her stepson.
Can or can't?
No, okay. So I did a report earlier and you said you sent it to me. Then when I called back, you said it was blocked, that I wasn't allowed to get a report. But then I clicked the terms and conditions and it says you can do questions about infidelity and stuff like that.
But infidelity wasn't what you were asking about.
Yes, infidelity you can, correct.
Right, and that's what I did.
No.
Your report was about infidelity, was it?
What did you say?
So you're saying your report was about infidelity?
Yeah, like I put questions in for it, and you had to like answers, and you said something about it being blocked.
Yes. And what were your questions?
So it was
What were your questions? Get her.
about during the time that we were away inside of in another state that I talked to, and I gave the person's individual's name, Ortega. That was one of them. Then it said, "Are your eyes blue?" And I did a couple of the questions that were on the bottom.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure in that case. Unfortunately, that's not what came through.
She's
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's happened there then.
Hang up on her.
Because I read that you can do this. Yeah, it says on there that you can do that.
Yeah, you would be able to about infidelity, but the questions that were submitted to your order were not to do with infidelity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't submit questions that were not to do with infidelity.
Okay.
Wait, is she trying to lie her way out of this? I don't get what the goal of this is. They're obviously going to be like, these are the questions you submitted. Has nothing to do with infidelity. Now what?
Right, see, well, I'll have to look into that then in that case.
Do you want me just to write you the questions down?
No, it's okay. I'll just need to have a look into this then to see what can be done.
Okay.
Just remind me again, what was the name of the report?
It was Stauch, Stauch.
And that's your surname, is it? Your last name?
Yes.
Oh man, I wonder if the customer service rep guy, I wonder if they know about this case now. They're like, oh, I was the one that talked to her.
Okay, and first name is?
Tecia.
Okay, and how do I spell that?
It's Tecia.
Tecia.
Really?
Yes.
She's going to ask for her money back? No way.
Okay, all righty. Well, let me have a look into that and I can come back to you.
Okay, thank you.
What's the best number to get you on?
843
Mhm.
798
Uh-huh.
1700.
Okay, right, thanks a lot now. Take care. Bye-bye.
843, that's Colorado?
As you've testified, were you aware also at this same time that that's when these pretext calls were being recorded involving Al Stauch and the defendant?
Yes, I was.
Were there phone calls during that time with those pretext calls in which the defendant was talking about getting a polygraph examination?
Yes, she was.
What was she trying to convince the listener, I guess Al Stauch, of during those
So it was for Al.
conversations?
Objection, speculation, that's
Sustained. I think you can rephrase and refer back to the conversation, but I think it's up to the jury to make a determination about what the defendant's state of mind was during the
Sure,
conversation.
I understand that.
Is that her right there? Is that her? With the ring girl hair? What is she doing? Is she like covering up her face or something?
What was she saying to Al as it relates to the polygraph?
She was saying that she had passed a polygraph test and she was continuing to purport her innocence and that she had nothing to do with.
She's also trying to play. She's probably also trying to play it up as well to make it seem like she's like crazy.
Gannon's disappearance.
Passed a polygraph as it relates to what?
Whether she had anything to do with Gannon's disappearance.
Okay. Yeah, that's all I have. Thank you.
Cross-examination, Mr. Tellini.
I don't have any questions for agent.
Yeah, I don't have any questions. Oh man, her defense attorney, they just try to get this over with, man. They're like, I have no questions. We're not even gonna talk about this damn polygraph thing. Okay, so that's a polygraph one. I didn't hear her demanding for a refund. Unless there's other calls that pop up later on where she's like, hey, can I get my $60 refund, please? I don't know. They can look at her credit card statements, her bank statements. I wonder in her credit card statement, is it going to say like polygraph.com or whatever, fake polygraph.com? Or do they want to do one of those things where they like hide it and it's like realpolygraph.com? Yeah, that's her to the right. She uses her hair like a curtain to hide behind. Oh, your sister's going to Japan. Nice. Yeah, we're doing a last minute trip there. Okay, so let's talk about I haven't listened to this yet, but I already heard about it from the police affidavit. But there was something that was brought up, though. Apparently, there were drugs found in Gannon's body. Should I watch I think we'll watch the law and crime version.
Perform a toxicology test as well
Yes,
when you do an autopsy.
yes.
What is the purpose of doing a toxicology report?
We do it in all violent deaths, and it's to determine whether there were any drugs or what drugs were in the system.
Was that performed on Gannon Stauch?
Yes,
Was there anything unusual detected in Gannon Stauch at the time of autopsy?
Yep.
there were some drugs, or there was a drug that was present.
Okay, so let's talk first. Acetaminophen, a typical over-the-counter medication, was that found in Gannon?
Yes,
Would that be anything unusual that a child would have potentially residual acetaminophen at the time of autopsy?
If maybe the patient, the decedent at that time was having a fever or pain, they would give them acetaminophen or Tylenol.
Yeah, I was wondering. So the day before Gannon Stauch's supposed murder, Letecia did a really weird recording of her and Gannon where it seemed like Gannon spilled a candle on the floor. And then Letecia was saying he ruined the carpet. The carpet caught on fire or something like that. There was smoke everywhere. But I'm thinking, like, when you spill a candle, doesn't it just go out and then you just have candle wax everywhere? So Gannon was complaining about having a burn. He was just really worried about a burn that he had. And it seemed like it was really painful. So I wonder, did she burn him? Because I don't see how he would be able to burn himself. Maybe she flipped out or something. Maybe she burned him. And then she gave him some Tylenol, hoping the pain would go away. And then she realized that like she fucked up or something. And now she needs to cover her tracks. Like, I don't know. I feel like something must have went down the day before his murder, because she seemed like she was up all night searching things on the internet. And at 4 a.m. she called her work and said that she wasn't able to go into her work because her stepdad got ran over by a car. Okay. She didn't even say that like, oh, I'm not feeling well or Gannon's not feeling well. She said, no, my stepdad got ran over by a car. Like a really crazy, outrageous lie like that. I know. I don't like the carpet video. I don't like it either. It's just really sad because she's crazy. So he's over here, he's crying about having this pain, this burn. And she's over here like saying like, okay, well, because you did this, we need to sell things now. What should we sell? Should we sell the couch? We got to fix the carpet. Like there is something wrong with her.
Would that be common though, in an 11-year-old to find that in a body potentially?
No, you don't always see that.
Okay. What other things did you find in Gannon's bodily tissues?
He also had hydrocodone in the liver tissue.
Yeah, hydrocodone.
All right, so let's talk about hydrocodone. What is hydrocodone?
Hydrocodone is a narcotic analgesic. It's a drug used for pain, and that is also found in cough medications because it's supposed to suppress your cough.
Mm-hmm.
Is hydrocodone a controlled substance?
Yes, you need a prescription for that.
So I can't just go to Walgreens without a prescription and buy hydrocodone?
Yes.
Oh, who had a prescription for that? Did she have it? Because I wonder if she was trying to... I think she was trying to figure out ways to get rid of Gannon. And I wonder if one of the ways was trying to like overdose him or something like that.
Is it indicated as highly addictive?
Yes, you can be dependent on it.
What are the effects of hydrocodone on a human?
Depending on the dosage, you can initially become drowsy, lightheaded, dizziness. And if you take a higher dose, it could lead to respiratory depression, or you'll have problems breathing.
Gannon's dad had the prescription. The stepdad story is true. Oh, she had a brother that testified on the stand.
You'll have lethargy, coma, and eventually death.
Was it unusual, in your opinion, to find hydrocodone in a child of 11 years old, like we did here in Gannon's death?
Yes, I found it unusual.
Is that because of all of those issues you just described?
Yes, and if it was for a cough, you would give something that didn't have the narcotic analgesic in it.
Typically, people wouldn't.
I also wonder, are they able to determine what the dose was?
Yes, that wouldn't be the first line of choice.
Okay. May I have just a moment, Your Honor?
In this case, I'm going to ask some follow-up questions. Were you able to tell the blunt head trauma injuries, the three on the top of the head you were discussing? Can you tell the jury if those were post-mortem or pre-mortem?
They were pre-mortem.
Pre-mortem. And by that, you mean before death?
Yes.
Okay. At one point during your investigation, were you kind of unsure whether the blunt force trauma had happened before or after Gannon had died?
No.
Okay.
Hey, good morning. She's guilt tripping and psychologically terrorizing her child. Yeah.
And the injuries,
like textbook evil stepmom,
that you noted in your report and during the autopsy, they would indicate that this was a violent death.
Yes.
Okay. Also, it looked like a lot of the injuries, the blunt force injuries, the sharp force injuries, it looks like it was just a random act, whereas there's no pattern to it. You have injuries to the head, you have injuries to the body, some are deep, some are shallow. It indicates that this was a random attack, correct?
Yes.
Okay. There was no pattern to it.
Yes.
Okay.
Dude, she must have had some signs throughout her entire fucking life that would have pointed to her just like flipping out like this. Was she ever seeing therapy by any, like a therapist by any chance? She must have had some signs and she must have just fucking ignored them, hoping they would just go away.
Would the blood force injuries, were they fatal by themselves?
Yes, they could be.
Okay.
Oh, this one. So I actually have my title reversed. This one is the stepmom trial, and her stepson disappeared and was found in a suitcase over a bridge thousands of miles away 3 months later. This is a different one. The doomsday one is, we're going to get into that together. That one's really complicated. So I'm hoping some of you guys know about the doomsday one. And you guys can help me with some of the family tree stuff. That one's like, there's a lot of people involved in that one.
And you say the gunshot was fatal in and of itself as well?
Yes,
Okay. Did the bullet from the gunshot, I can't remember what you said, did it enter into the cranial vault?
it did not.
It did not. Okay. And the mechanism for death with the gunshot, it was that it severed the spinal cord or some vertebrae?
Yes.
Okay. And what would have been the mechanism for death with the blood force injuries? Would that have been bleeding or hemorrhaging in the brain? What would that have been?
Yes, there was hemorrhage in the brain.
Okay. When you're doing investigation and autopsies and looking at toxicology reports, did you go back or did your office or did you receive any information about whether Gannon had a prescription for cough syrup or cough medicine that contained any hydrocodone?
No, I didn't inquire.
Okay. So it is possible that he could have had a medication or a prescription from a doctor to assist with the cough.
It's possible.
And if he had a prescription for a opiate-based cough syrup or cough medicine, then it would follow that it would show up in his blood or his toxicology results.
Yes.
Okay. Could any of the injuries noted have happened? There's evidence that there was a suitcase that he was in. He was, the suitcase was thrown off an overpass
Oh my goodness. I heard about this part.
of a highway near Pensacola. Is there any way that some of the injuries could have been caused by the impact of the suitcase hitting the ground?
Like which injuries?
The blunt force trauma injuries.
No, they were on the top of the head.
Top of the head.
No.
Okay.
I mean, even so, honestly, I don't think that's going to matter to the jury anyways. Hey, Tam Jules, how are you doing today?
In a lot of injuries, doctor, you'll see stippling or powder burns on the skin where a bullet or a projectile will enter. Did you note any of that, any of those type of injuries on Mr. Gannon?
I didn't see any stippling, but
Okay.
it's also because of decomposition. I might not be able to see it.
And that was my next question. Would decomposition, even if it had originally been there, would it make that disappear or decay?
Maybe.
Maybe.
See, I wonder if Gannon was severely injured by Letecia the day before he was murdered, because the candle thing went down. He spilled the candle. She seemed like she was pissed. She didn't care that he was burned. He sounded like he was in pain on the recording. And the next day, it seemed like Gannon was on the surveillance camera in the neighbor's cam footage. And you kind of see Gannon getting into the car, but something fell. And I think one of the court TV reporters noted that it looked like Gannon was hesitant to picking it up because even the thought of picking it up, it was too painful to bend down. So I wonder if she severely hurt Gannon the day before, and then she calls off school. She calls off her work as well because she's trying to figure out how to fix it. And when they went to Petco together, what's interesting is that she went to a very far Petco that was like, 20 to 30 miles away from the home. There were closer ones, but she decided to go one that was like really far away. She bought something at like 11:30 and then no idea where she went. And then she came back 2 hours later at 1:30 and bought something again at the very same Petco that was very far away. I felt like she was driving around trying to figure out how to get rid of Gannon. And then additionally, she did not have her cell phone with her that entire trip. Gannon had his phone, but she didn't have hers at all. I think something happened the day before and she was trying to cover her tracks and then she was trying to figure out what to do. And then she couldn't, she decided not to do anything. And then when she got back home, something must have went down. She flipped off. She tried to attack him with a knife. He didn't die immediately. And then she ran and grabbed the gun. This poor little boy was like in pain, it seems like, for like 24 hours. Hi,
So
Gwendolyn. How are you?
what I'm getting at is, were you able to make any type of conclusion as to the distance the gun was from the body when it was discharged?
No.
Okay. Were any of the sharp force injuries, were any of them in and of themselves fatal?
Because of the decomposition, I couldn't really tell. I mean, when I looked at the lungs, because I was thinking it would penetrate the lungs, I didn't see any injuries, but because there was decomposition, it was hard to see. So I couldn't really tell.
Yeah, and apparently the sharp object, which is probably the knife, that hasn't been recovered. And same thing with the shell casings. They weren't recovered as well. I don't know if the gun is still there. It might be. I think they had like a family gun.
With the injuries that went into the chest cavity.
So I guess all you can say is it's possible. Is it possible that some or one or more of these sharp force injuries were fatal?
Yes, it could be fatal if left unattended.
Okay. And it looks like in your report, you look for organs, you remove some of them, you measure the contents of fluids in different organs and that sort of thing. It looks like in your report, it mentions that you couldn't find a pancreas. Is that because?
Yeah, tried dosing it with Vicodin or something like that. Yeah. And then she's like, you know what? I'm just going to, I think she flipped and then, yeah. And then she tried to come up with some stupid lie saying that like, oh, he was supposed to come home at 6 p.m. or something like that.
Because Gannon did not have a pancreas or because it had just decayed to the point of being able to identify it?
Yes, decomposition.
Composition. So a lot of this stuff, a lot of the organs and whatnot in Gannon, they had decayed to the point where you couldn't identify him anymore.
Yes.
Okay. And is that typical for a body that had the history of exposure to the elements?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, at least we know this is going to be like a open and shut case. Okay. There better not be any fucking jury sympathetic for her, but it seems like it's going to be open and shut case. No matter what, she's going to be locked away for a long time. Now, what I do want to know is that if you're not guilty by reason of insanity, does that mean that like in 5 years, if she somehow becomes insane, she can walk around free? I actually don't know anything about that. I'm pretty sure they're just going to lock her ass away because the evidence against her is really strong. Al testified she was either really great with the kids or had days where, oh, she didn't give a crap and they fended for themselves. Yeah, see, I don't know. See, divorce, I don't know, man. I wouldn't want anyone like that near my kids.